Hi, everyone, and welcome to the launch of our latest version of the Wix Editor. Today, we'll reveal the newest capabilities joining our already amazing set of tools and solutions designed to give you a more intuitive and efficient web creation experience. I'm Yara, Head of Product for Wix Editor, and I'm so excited to be here. It's been a long journey, full of hard work by some truly incredible people, and I can't wait to show you what we've been up to. With more than 200 million websites created on Wix, we've developed a deep understanding of what our users want. This, along with extensive research into market trends, allows us to build tools to help you accomplish more, whether you own a small business or a large web design agency. We know that you, as web creators, have high expectations, and we're committed to meeting them. We want to provide you with the best experience out there. To do that, we've combined our powerful AI with complex design capabilities to allow you to create beautiful and engaging websites. We've also implemented new tools to help you build and grow faster to keep up with the ever-changing business climate. And with this new version of the editor, the possibilities are truly endless. Today, we'll take you through a demo of the newest features in the editor. After that, we'll be joined by David Schwartz, VP of Product, Chagit Kaufman, VP of Design, and Oded Nachshon, Head of Wix Editor, for an open discussion about these new capabilities and the future of web creation at Wix. Before we wrap up, we'll have some time to answer your questions live, so be sure to ask them in the chat on the right side of your screen. And now, let's get started.
Get ready to create better, faster. Introducing an enhanced editor experience with complex design capabilities right at your fingertips. Use sections to arrange your site and explore alternative layouts. Instantly align all design down to the very last pixel. And let visitors experience your brand just the way you dreamed it. Wix. The possibilities are endless.
I'm so glad that you're finally getting to see this. And now I'm happy to introduce Neri and Avia, a few of the brilliant minds behind the editor, who will give you a demonstration of all the new capabilities you'll get with this latest version.
Thank you, Yara. Hi, everyone. I'm Avia, and this is Neri.
Hi.
We're so excited to be here and show you everything we've been working on.
But first, it's important to note that with this version of the editor, it doesn't matter how you decide to start your site, whether by choosing a template starting from scratch or by using the ADI wizard to create a site for you. You will all land in this version of the editor.
Now, to be able to show you all the new capabilities, we've created a website for an online store. This is a great example to work with because, as you know, online stores need to be super dynamic. Their content is constantly being updated and changed, and they have to be engaging and focused on driving sales. So without any further ado, Neri, why don't you get us started?
Thanks, Avia. Let's start with a quick tour of the editor workspace. You'll recognize this top bar where you can manage all your site settings, turn on dev mode, save and publish your site. Here you can see your site's domain, and right next to it, you can access your mobile editor, where you can edit and customize your mobile site. Later on, we'll show you some new features we added there. Here, in the left bar, is where you have all the building blocks you can add to your site, either elements, sections, or pages. Sections are new, and we are really excited to tell you all about them, so bear with us, we'll get to it in a bit. From this bar, you can also manage your business solutions and access your content manager and other tools. And of course, this is the canvas, your space to be creative and build your pixel-perfect design by using drag and drop.
So Neri just went over the different building blocks you can add to your site. You already know pages and elements, but with this new version of the editor, we're introducing an exciting new one, sections. Sections are horizontal, full-width building blocks that divide your page into meaningful content pieces. We have designed them to help you focus and work on one part of your site at a time. With sections, you'll be able to organize and structure your site's content exactly the way you want to create an engaging and cohesive experience for your visitors. And this concept of sections will enable a whole new set of features and capabilities that we're going to break down for you in this demo. Now, let's see how it works. Look at this welcome section, for example. We can see its name here and its quick action bar to the right where you can rearrange, quick edit, or get alternative layout suggestions. To better see how sections divide your page, we can use this zoom out mode. It'll give us a better overview of the new page structure, where we have our header, different sections, and footer.
Now let's take a look at site design. When creating a site for your business, you'll want your site theme to always look aligned and coherent with your brand. Site design allows you to set up and control the theme of your whole site from one place. So when we started this site, we created a unique theme that included the brand's typography and colors. And because I've applied this theme, you can see it reflected throughout the whole site, and every component is wired to that theme. So if I change a color here, all the related components will change as well.
And we can also do it for fonts.
Exactly, it works exactly the same way. For those still building their brand, you can always get inspiration from these new featured themes. They were created by our in-house design experts and are compliant with accessibility standards. You can take a look through them and find the style that fits your brand the best. So if you want to have a more natural look, you can choose maybe this one. Or if you want to try a more edgy feel, you can try maybe this. But see how they work perfectly with your site and completely change the way it look and feel.
They all look great, but maybe we should switch back to the original theme.
All right. Once you set up a site theme, it's time to tell the brand story and values.
Right, because these can really engage visitors and create long-lasting relationships. So you want them to be clear, relatable, and eye-catching. An About section is the perfect place to start. Let's add one from here. I can either add a blank section or a ready-made design from any of the categories. Since we're creating an About section, I'll take one from the About. Now, keep in mind, these designs are just your starting point. You can leave them as is or edit and change whichever parts you want to make it specific to your needs.
Well, that's exactly what we'll do. Let's start with the title here. Change it to Our Story. And let's also change the color to something a little bit brighter. Okay. Now, I want this section to be more visual, so I'll make some more room by adjusting the section height and remove these two elements. And instead, I'm going to add a new strip to this section. Let's adjust the size a little bit. I'll divide it into columns and adjust the margins. Now this will help me create a more complex layout within the section that is adaptable to all screen sizes.
And this is actually why we kept strips in addition to sections.
Exactly. So let's add an image here. Okay. And let's add some color to this one. Great.
I like that it's on brand.
Now we'll add a paragraph here. This is perfect. And let's add also a button. which later on we can maybe link to the About page.
Yeah.
Okay, change the text here. I'll adjust the size. Okay, final touch. Let's add something to make this design consistent, like the vector art that we have in other sections. I'll add vector art. Let's pick something generic, and we'll update it to the one that we use in this site. And see that I still have a total freedom to drag and drop any element and put it wherever I want. So I'll put it right here. I think we're looking good.
I love it.
Right.
I do want this section to really stand out, so I'm going to use our new gradient background capability. I can do that by clicking here and choosing the color option. Notice I have two new tabs. The gradient tab, where I can build linear or radial gradients and adjust all their settings. Then I have the second tab, which is fluid gradients. This is a feature you will not find on any other platform, and it really gives you the ability to go wild with your creativity. You can add unlimited colors, change the way they scatter around the page, and adjust all their settings. So you get a unique, one-of-a-kind visual. Once you have something you like, you can also save it here in your gradients. So you can reuse them later as the background in other components like lightboxes or slideshows. Now I'm going to use something that we previously saved. So now this section is ready for desktop. But as we know, most site traffic comes from mobile. So it's important that the site is compatible for small screens.
Let's click here to go to the mobile editor. First of all, we see that the site is automatically adjusted to fit the mobile screen, including the new section we just created. Now, even though this section looks great, we may want it to look different on mobile, since we know that people interact differently when they're browsing on the go.
Right.
So for example, here, I'd like the text to be a little bit shorter, to be able to see the entire section on any screen. So now, in the same way that you add elements to your desktop, you can also add elements that will appear only on your mobile site. So I can simply hide this text here. It will be added to my hidden mobile elements. Then I'll take this button, move it a little bit lower to make some room. And instead of the long text that we had there, I can go to Add to Mobile and add a new paragraph. Let's move it down a little bit. Paste in the text that we want. Adjust the size. There you go.
Now this section looks great on both desktop and mobile. But I have one more thought here. Let's go back to desktop. Now, looking at this site, I want visitors to get to know the brand earlier in their journey. So I'm going to move the About section we just created higher in the page. To do that, I'll just click here on the quick action bar. That's it. Now, if you've ever tried to do this before, you probably remember having to drag things around the whole site. But now this allows me to move the entire section up or down with just the click of a button.
Now that we've seen how to create a whole new section, let's talk about updating content, because once you have created a site, you will want to keep it up to date. Take this promotional section, for example. Special offers are always changing. For that, we've created a new way for you to quickly edit your content.
Right. So with this quick edit tool, I can skim through all the elements in the section and change them here on the side without even touching the canvas at all. It will allow anyone on your team to update content without worrying that it will accidentally move something that hurts your design. So here we have our special offer section. We want to update the offer to what the store is currently promoting, which is the summer sale. So I'll go here and quickly update the content of the section. I'm going to change the image to our Summer Essentials image right here. Then I'm going to update the title. And text. And the button is fine, so I think I'm going to leave it as is. And that's it. I'm done updating the content.
Looks good. Sometimes, though, when you edit your section content, the layout you originally chose doesn't quite fit anymore. Like here, we chose this image, but with this layout, it's a little bit hidden.
I agree. And this is where our AI comes into play. With one click, I can explore alternative layouts for my section using the exact content, images, or elements that are already there. This feature uses Wix AI capabilities to identify the elements within the section and their semantics. Then it suggests beautiful layouts that serve the section's business goal. Let's take a look at these suggestions. So I'm getting all my content with the image and text that I just put in. And I think I'm going to take this design because it really makes the image stand out. That's it. Easy.
OK, let's talk a little bit about this section. This section here gives visitors a glimpse into the store's collections. This part needs to be dynamic, and we need to make sure that with any content added, the style will be aligned. That's why we use repeaters. And keep in mind, they will seamlessly resize across all screens without any effort on your side. We can also connect repeaters to the integrated CMS, but I don't think it's necessary here since we have not that many items.
Yeah, I agree.
So I want to add another item to the repeater. So first of all, I'm gonna adjust the size, stretch it a little bit, and fix the margins. Great. And then I'm going to add another item to the repeater by duplicating the last one. Change its image to our accessories collection image. And update the text as well.
So accessories?
Accessories, yeah. That's it.
Great. Now, this gives me the opportunity to show another exciting capability, interactions. These are a new way to easily generate beautiful effects and animations to enhance the visitor experience without writing any line of code. Here in Interactions, we have some pre-designed effects which I can customize, or I can simply create my own from scratch. And this is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to drag this item up and take this arrow to the left. And now this design here is what my visitors will see when they hover over this item.
Can we see how it looks?
Yep. We'll do it by going to Preview. And this is how it looks for visitors. Notice I designed it once, but it automatically applies to all the repeater items, which is actually why we use repeaters to begin with.
This is pretty amazing. And it took you, what, like 10 seconds, right?
Something like that.
OK, so let's recap. We changed the page layout and introduced a new building block, sections, which enables you to quickly create, customize, and navigate site content, both for desktop and mobile.
And on top of that, we added more ways for you to engage visitors with eye-catching and interactive design. So with this new editor version, we're introducing a new set of capabilities designed to enhance both creator and visitor experiences.
Thanks, guys. That was a great demo. For those of you who have questions, Avia and Eri will be back soon for our Q&A session. So now that we've seen the editor, I'd like to introduce you to a few of the leaders at Wix who are going to tell us what we can expect from the future of web creation. So please welcome David Schwartz, VP of Product, Chagit Kaufman, VP of Design, and Oded Nachshon, Head of Wix Editor. It's great to have you guys here. I'm personally super excited to hear what you have to say about the editor. So let's dive in. Our first question is for you, Oded. We just saw a demo exploring all these new features. How will they actually affect our users?
this version is a version that caters all the needs of many different types of users, whether you're a professional, you start from blank, or you're a novice user that only starts to work with our platform. It gives you the total freedom to start from a template, then dive into it and change it. But we all need to remember that at the end of the day, actually a website is telling the story of the business. And the business evolves, and your site should evolve with it. And what we've tried to do is also support that phase. And we allow you, once your business starts to evolve, we allow you to evolve with it. And I think one of the exciting things that we've added is the ability to add sections and to add ideas as your business grows. And I think that switch section, in a way, gives you the confidence that you can always start with something, change it, modify it, work with it. It's an iterative process in which you evolve your business and you can express whatever you want. And it always gives you the confidence that we are there for you to help you to achieve what you really want to express.
What I like about it is that you basically, to elaborate a little bit about what Oded just said, you basically choose your level of inspiration. So a designer is, whether they're creating the website or updating something new that just emerged in the business, so the designer can say, okay, I just want to start now with a canvas, a blank canvas. I want to start from scratch, and I want to express myself on it. You want to go a little higher in the level of inspiration? That's very cool. Choose a template. You choose a template, you get it, you see it, you like it, you pick it, and you configure it to express yourself. And maybe you want even higher level of expression, so you go in the wizard path. You basically describe who you are, you describe what are your design preferences, what are your business goals. We create for you, using artificial intelligence, a unique experience for you. You get inspired by it, and then you can go and modify it and do with it basically whatever you like. And I find it a very powerful experience, both for the professional designer and also for a professional businessman that add a new thing now to their business and want to express it.
So as you both said, basically, our platform serves many different types of users, from those who build their own sites to partners and agencies who create sites for others. We know that designing a site is not an easy task, especially when you're not a designer. With this new version, we're introducing some new, exciting design capabilities. So, Hagit, how do you think this will simplify the design process for those users who don't have a design background?
It will basically give them the ability to do whatever they want, or to work alone, or to build their own presence without the assistance of a designer, because we give you the right structure or a suggestion for the structure and the layout for your business or for your brand, and you will get the end result, a fully functional website without knowing a design at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. We've been talking a lot about creation process, right? But first, building your site. But once it is built, our users really need to continue growing and evolving. Oded also mentioned it. David, maybe you can tell us, how do you see this new version helping them to scale more easily?
So, as we said before, a business is not a static thing. And the website should not be a static thing as well. Something new happened in your business. You added a new team member, you're starting doing Zoom meetings, you decide to sell products on top of the services you do, you decide to sell services on top of the product you sell. So, it used to be, from basically going down to the emotional perspective, it used to be a very tedious experience. I changed something, and ironically, and I know this from talking to people, in many cases, someone wanted to do a really good change in their business, and that's what they do. They're the business. They're a fitness trainer, or they're a teacher, or they're a tutor. And changing their business and growing it for them was really easy. But for them, it seemed like a gorge that they have to cross to update their online presence to fit it. And then the business change was delayed. Once you have such a seamless experience where you basically take your thoughts and ideas, get inspired, and boom, update, you don't delay anymore. And from a tedious experience, it becomes actually an exciting experience. And then comes something that actually becomes the opposite. Not you have this new idea for your business. Mm-hmm. You're not confronting this tedious emotion, so you run to the editor and express yourself. You're getting inspired. You see new business inspirations. Not only am I adding a team member, hey, look, membership and packages.
Right.
I can sell a membership. or I can do a package of 10 personal trainings. Exciting, I'm adding it. And then my business grows. And, you know, I see those people do it. I am inspired by what they're doing. It's literally overwhelming, breathtaking.
This is exactly what we've been trying to do. We're really focused on creating tools and workflows that would make users' lives easier. We spoke before about how this version will help non-designers. Now, Hagit, from a designer's perspective, how do you see these tools and capabilities in assisting designers in their day-to-day?
I want to say that as a designer, I usually start designing at different tools, and then I want to bring it to life using our product. And this time I feel that the new version gives me a great starting point. So I have all my content inside the editor, and now I can play with it. I can change it. I can totally change and bring my design to life. I can push the boundaries to the end. I can do everything, but I have my content arranged already, so it's really shortened the process. Also, if I work with a client, I can show my client live sketches, for example. I don't have to send him 3 static JPEGs. I can now send him a live sketch for a website, which would be my starting point later, once we'll choose the right layout and the right design. So it gives me the ability to work much better with everyone.
I think another capability which actually enhances this cooperation between the designer and the customer is the edit section. I think once we have introduced that, a designer can wrap up what he needs to do. But then when the user or the customer actually wants to change the content, wants to add stuff, to remove stuff, it's very easy for him to do it without any fear
changes.
That, yeah, I might hurt the design, I might not be aligned with what the designer needs or wanted to do. I have much more confidence in doing stuff myself as a customer. The designer doesn't need to chip in and go and, you know, maintain the work that he's done a few months ago only because somebody wants to change the content.
Right.
And I think this gives a lot of freedom and a lot of more, you know, collaboration between both parties.
Definitely.
Hagit, I want to stay with you for a second and talk about one of the biggest capabilities we've added to this version, and it's the capability to create unique design on mobile. Can you share your perspective about the importance of designing for mobile?
We all use the internet, both on mobile and on desktop, and we know that we use it differently. So the actions that we need to be available on mobile are not always the ones that should be the top ones on the desktop. Mm-hmm. And now you can design it differently at the 2 platforms to have one presence that fits the use of your user the best.
I think basically it's 2 different, you know, it's 2 different consumption experience. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's not just more capabilities or less capabilities on mobile, it's different content. Maybe on desktop you have much more time, you have much more patience to read longer paragraphs. On mobile, for sure you don't. So I think that we allow you now to have a very focused, laser-sharp experience on mobile while have much more experience, let's say, exploratory experience on desktop. And it's the same site, it's the same content, but it's delivered differently. I think it's amazing.
I'm super proud of us doing that. I think that also one of the other things that we're proud of at Wix is the fact that we have a very unique platform when it comes to web creation. So, Odette, maybe you can tell us a bit, how do you see this editor being different from other platforms in the market today?
So I think we discussed it a bit because I think that the main challenge we had is to create the perfect Swiss knife. We really wanted to create something that would be able to cater everybody. We really wanted to create a tool that will allow anybody to create the ultimate professional, unlimited site, web presence. I don't want to say site, I want to say web presence, I want to say business, okay? And I think that while other competitors on the market, they have a very significant section or a target audience that they're catering. They are probably very good at what they do. Nobody else allows different audiences and different capabilities and such a huge range of evolvement on one product seamlessly. And I can, again, and we've seen it, I can imagine somebody that starts his baby steps on creating site on the web, and after a year or two, his site, his business grows so rapidly, and he ends up with coding capabilities, and he ends up with business management capabilities, which were inspired by stuff that we provide him. David mentioned it before. I start with a small service, then maybe I'm starting to sell stuff, and I have products and whatever. I evolve with it. My business comprehension, my presence is changing, and my business changes with it.
And obviously, it doesn't end with the web presence.
Right.
We give you tools to get booked, to sell, to ship, to fulfill orders, to get paid.
To manage your business.
To manage your business,
Exactly.
basically.
You're kind of touching like my next question. So, David, how do you think this version takes us one step closer to following Wix mission on giving everyone access to building a business online? View.
So, as we said before, today everyone is a business. You start by, a channel somewhere in a social network, then you want to start selling, then you want to start getting booked. You want to create a web presence that will be unique and your own. Your business grows with you. The way I think about it, think that when you are going through this evolution, not only of your business, but also for yourself, you had like a really, really amazing VP designer behind you, like let's say Hagit, and Duel, a real expert in editing website like Oded, and the business advisor sitting next to you and promoting all these new exciting things you can do with your business. And they're all talking to you. So for me, one of the most exciting things, they are talking to you in the product. Hagit is there.
Most of the time.
Most of the time. Telling you, get inspired by this, get inspired by this, get inspired by this. Oded is there telling you, you shouldn't do it like this, you should actually do it like this. Look at this as well, look at this as well, look at this as well. What's your preference? And our VP Commerce is there as well, telling you, consider other ways to do fulfillment. Maybe it will grow your business. And it's all happening inside the product, not as a tutorial that is with you, but as you use the product pops all this inspiration to you.
This is Wix.
Wow.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of new capabilities here today. How do you see them shaping the future of web creation?
So again, I think that this is one of the first time that we actually put artificial intelligence into work in a heavy load. Like, what we're doing when we talk about switch section? What is happening there behind the scene? I mean, we give the user the ability to do whatever he wants on stage. He puts whatever he wants to express on stage, and then using machine learning, we are looking at it and we're trying to see what is the best order for it. How can we put a good layout, not good as what Hagit will do, but good enough layout to start with. And I think this is only one use case. We can think about situations in which we will ask you a few questions and we can maybe create a paragraph for you. And we have that already in the text suggestions feature.
Yes.
And we can take it one step further and say, you know what, tell us a bit more about yourself, or give us some kind of content, no matter what the format it is. Give me a Word document describing your business. Let the AI scan it, try to understand who you are, and maybe we can start and suggest a site for you. And by the way, I think this is why Wix is investing so heavily in the artificial intelligence world, trying to achieve that goal.
I think that what's exciting about what you guys did with artificial intelligence is not only you get inspired, you tell us who you are, what yourself, and we create something for you that looks super professional. It is also unique.
Right.
There is no other thing like this all over the world.
Right.
It's not like a template that everybody looks the same. And, not going to the technical details, they had to work really hard to achieve that, and the results are impressive.
And that's just the beginning, as Oded said. Okay, and now for our last question. So, as leaders at Wix, you are taking part in shaping the future of the industry. Can you share with us what you imagine web creation with Wix is going to look like in 5 years?
I believe it's gonna evolve in two different directions. The first one would be for creatives and for designers that can do everything. I don't know what it would call in 5 years because it's changing so fast, but you can practically bring all your designs and all your vision from out of the online world into it back. So more and more tools and more expression abilities would be out there. And the other direction is for business owners or for people that need web presence or something that would represent their business and their brand. It would be much more easier to get a professional outcome.
I relate to what Hagit said. I think that, a dream of mine would be to allow any user to create a site, to create an expression. And I have a dream that one day I will come to Hagit and say, this is what we've created. She said, I don't need to change anything, it's perfect. So
don't count on it, huh?
Yeah. I said I have a dream, but you need to aspire. You need to be, you need to dream high. And yeah, I think that the part of not just building a web presence, and Daddy talked a lot about it, but the part of managing your business. I want Wix. We already there, but I think we have more ground to cover. That people, when they think about, I want to open a business, the first thing they would think about, I'll go to work with Wix. Why? Not just because of the web presence, because I can get inspired there. I can look for other verticals, other revenue generators, other ideas. And I think this is, for me, that's the most exciting thing.
Adding on top of what Oded said, what I see today, leave 5 years from now, but what I see today is, first of all, as Oded says, businesses are becoming multi-businesses. If someone used to be an online store, now they're selling also bookings, they're creating content, they're doing events, they're doing classes, they're doing workshops. Every business becomes multi-business. Every person becomes a business. You're becoming a business, you have business identity, you want to monetize on the interesting things you do. And you do it across many channels simultaneously. So it's not only your website, it's also on your presence in the social networks and in the media. And they all have to play together. Whether it's design that speaks in the same language, a message and content that convey who you are and what you are. And also, logistical things such as syncing your inventory that's sold over all these channels, or having a calendar that organizes all this stuff. But this is not 5 years from now. We see it today. I think this is going to accelerate in the next 5 years. And I think we'll be there to support that.
Sure. Well, David, Hagit, Oded, thank you so much for joining me. I would be very happy to sit here and chat with you for another hour, but it looks like that we're out of time. Thank you so much for your insights. I was super insightful, and I'm sure that also our viewers. So thank you.
Thanks, Yara.
Thank you.
Okay, so now it's time to move on to our Q&A session. Stay tuned as we bring Neri and Avia back to the stage. Now it's time to hear from you. Throughout this event, we've been getting some great questions, so we have Neri and Avia here to help answer them. Welcome back, guys.
Good to be back.
Okay, so let's start with the first question. Avia, this one is for you. We've been talking a lot about sections in the demo. Are sections mandatory when building a site?
So sections are mandatory in the sense that everything between header and footer is now made of sections. We do recommend that you put the different parts of your content into your own sections so you can enjoy all the benefits that sections have to offer. Some of which we saw today, like the quick edit, and some of them we'll introduce in the future.
Okay, I've been expecting this question. I think I'll take it. When will the new version be live? So currently, all users who are now joining Wix are already getting access to the new version of the editor. For those of you who are already Wix users, we're in the final stages of rolling out this version. So if your site hasn't been updated yet, don't worry, it will be soon. Okay. Neri, maybe you can take this one. How will sections work on my existing website?
Well, so when you'll get to your existing site with this new version of the editor, your site will already be divided into sections, which is cool. It means you don't have to do anything on your own. And this will happen completely automatically. And it's also worth mentioning that your live site will not be affected and visitors will not notice that anything changed. However, if you will want to use all the great features that we just presented, you will be able to do so because you now have sections on your site.
Yeah. Okay. We have another question here about sections. It's a very hot topic here. Can I link my site menu to a specific section?
So I'll answer that. So yes, in the same way that you can link pages to your site menu or any menu on your site, you can now link to sections. And to be clear, you can still link to anywhere on the page, either directly to a section where it's positioned, or within that section, to a specific position inside using anchors. So, and actually, one more thing I want to say is that maybe like more great news is that we're also planning to support direct link to sections that you can then share externally or publicly. And it also has some positive implications on SEO and accessibility.
Right, and this is a very long-awaited feature from our users, so that's truly exciting. Mm-hmm. Okay, if I like a section I've built, can I reuse it in another site?
Yes, you can. So if you design a section and you like it, you can save it into your saved sections and then use it on different places on the existing on the site that you're working on or on a different site that you're building. It works pretty much in the same way that My Design works for those of you who are familiar with this concept.
Yeah, and also here you can kind of save that section and use it with the original design or styling, or you can kind of add it to whatever site you're adding it to and apply the theme of that site.
Right.
So, yeah.
And I think this is a great example of a feature that we did in this version that really puts our partners in top priority. They can now create beautiful designs and layouts and then easily use them in their client sites without the need to build them from scratch. Okay, here's a question that comes up a lot, and I think I'll take it. Are sections responsive? So first of all, sections are optimized for mobile. They maintain the original grouping of elements. And this is the main problem we had before switching to sections. To adapt to different screen sizes on desktop, we still have strips you can use within sections. So you can create any complex layout you like.
Yeah, and it's actually what we did today in the demo, in the About section, where Neri added a strip with columns and margins, etc. And you can actually do this with multiple strips within that section, so they're all attached, and to create all these kind of complex layout that are also adaptive, right? So the text and image that you put into that section today were adapted to different screen sizes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Neri, I think the next one is for you. It's about site design. So can kits be created and saved?
Well, yes. So the theme kit that you're creating is being saved on the site that you're working on. So you don't have to worry about that. If the question is about applying those themes to other sites, so the answer currently is no, but it may be added in the future.
Right, so not yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I use the new editor with my ADI site? So that's a great question. For those of you who have already built your site using ADI, your site will be converted as part of this rollout to the new version. But keep in mind, it might take some time, so hang tight. The cool thing, though, is that even if you start your website with the ADI wizard, from now on, you'll land in this new editor. This is great, because no matter how you choose to start your site, you will still get all the latest features and capabilities of our editor. So those are really, really big and exciting news. Okay, here's an interesting one. How does layout suggestions affect the way the section looks on mobile?
Okay, so I'll take it. So any layout change that you apply on desktop is adjusted to mobile, like we talked about today. However, what's special about the different kind of alternative layout suggestions is that the artificial intelligence that is used in order to produce those on desktop also does the same for mobile. So you don't have to do anything. The alternative layout suggestions are already adjusted to mobile.
Right, great. Okay, quick edit. So can I give another person permission for the quick edit feature to edit content only?
Well, I've seen this one coming. Well, so like we demonstrated, the quick edit is essentially editing only the content of your site, like separated from the design, which means that we separated those two different aspects of your website editing into two different areas in the editor. And I can see exactly why it makes it much more convenient for different team members to do different things while editing the site. And it does make total sense to use it under specific permissions. And we might do that in the near future, but currently this is open to all users and all permissions. And everybody can enjoy it.
Okay. Okay, so here's a Velo question. Will sections be codable?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you were gonna look at me for this. So yes, sections have their own basic component APIs that you can use. So just as an example, the popular collapse and expand function will be available. So you can kind of, make them or actually use them in your Velo code.
Right. Okay, so I think this would be the last question of the day. So let's choose something we haven't covered yet. Okay, that's a nice one for mobile. Which elements can I add to my mobile site?
I'll answer this. So the purpose of this feature is to enable users to customize their mobile site, right? To make it look different than desktop, since we know that the browsing habits are changed, are different a little bit when you browse on the go. So we've researched and looked for what will help our users achieve exactly that. And we came up with different elements such as buttons, text, image, and even code embed. Anything you can use on your mobile site to accommodate the 2022 browsing standards.
Remember, as we mentioned before, we are in the final stages of the rollout process. So if your editor hasn't been updated yet, it will be in the next few weeks. So hang tight. Thank you all again. We can't wait to see what you will accomplish with these new capabilities. See you next time.